Okay, hello, this is Robs888, back with some recording. I haven't been doing that for a long time, but I actually have more free time and, more to the point, the technological capability to do this again. I've had some computer difficulties, but anyway, I really did want to, and I've wished I'd gotten a chance to record for the other contests, the other sets. So I'm starting off with Cornucopia here. I really do enjoy this, the fan card contest, and a big thank you to Last Footnote for doing the work to put it together. Before I get started, I should let you know I do have a card in here, and I will try to disguise which one that is. I'm going to be probably more particular than other people who record videos. I'm going to try to not have this be super long, and I might just reject things out of hand. The big thing that I see myself rejecting is I just don't like discard attacks, so if you made a discard attack, I'm probably just going to reject it. But I'll try to evaluate them all fairly, and apologies if I miss. This is the first time looking at most of these cards, and I'm sure I'll miss or get wrong things about them. Like this first one I was just reading, and I was trying to understand how it was different from Tribute at all, and it took me a while to even notice that it's revealing from your deck rather than someone else's, which is the difference. Although I don't think that's different enough from Tribute. So, alright, so I guess we're talking about the first card now, Bounty. Type, action, well, I guess you can read it for yourself. So it's a lot like Tribute. You get the same action bonus as Tribute, the same, and people don't like when you move around the mouse, right? Okay, I'll try not to do that. So you get the same action bonus, the same treasure bonus. The victory card, the bonus for flipping victory cards is actually nerfed, and then there's a slight bonus for flipping curses, although hardly worth a terminal $5 action card. 5 coin action card. I always call them $5. So I guess 5 coin is what I should say. Anyway, yeah, I don't think this is different enough from Tribute, and Tribute isn't itself very interesting. Pretty bad card as far as five cost cards go. So yeah, that's going to be a no for me. Field. It's an action. 4 cost. Reveal the top 4 cards of your deck. Put one of each differently named card revealed into your hand, and discard the rest. Yeah, that's fine. So it's terminal draw card. It draws you more cards than a smithy, but you only keep the differently named ones and you discard the rest. So if you just draw a lot of copper, you would only get 1 copper. Obviously not very good. But yeah, that's probably a fine card. Yeah. Kind of an obvious idea for this competition, but that's fine. So yeah. Storyteller. 4 cost action. +1 card. This is the first time you've played a Storyteller. Also +1 action. So it has that sort of crossroad type clause. While this is in play, when you play an action card, if you don't already have a copy of in play, +1 action. So it gives you actions per unique action card you play. Clarification, the first Storyteller you play only gives you +1 action, not +2 actions because it wasn't in play. Okay. So, sort of hard to evaluate without seeing how it works. But, yeah, it's an interesting idea. Rewards you for playing unique cards. I don't really like the name. Oh, I do sort of care about the flavor. So I'm likely to critique it, but you know, it's just my opinion. Storyteller doesn't really fit the Cornucopia theme to me, so But, I mean, that's fine. I would just advocate changing it or not changing it. It's fine. The mechanic is interesting, so. I guess I should be looking more detailed sort of strategy or ways where it could be broken. I mean, it's non-terminal when you play it the first time. And then I mean, I guess it could be maybe just too strong. Well, but it's just generating a lot of actions for your. Yeah, I think it's fine. I think it'd be interesting. Nice kind of village. It turns cards into non-terminal cards. Okay, moving on. Scarecrow. 3-cost action, +2 cards, +2 actions. Reveal your hand. Discard duplicate cards one at a time until you have no duplicate cards in hand. So it's a reverse Menagerie that would combo really well with Menagerie, actually, because it sets you up for the Menagerie every single time. So that would be nice. Otherwise, let's see, it's like Shantytown. Well, it's like level. Well, yeah, Shantytown, but it's Shantytown with the bonus. But level 2 city, really. But then it discards a lot of what you drew with it. Really bad in the beginning of the game, right? Because it would just discard. I mean, sort of, it can be bad for you at a lot of different times because you would end up discarding like all those extra treasures, like even coppers for like a draw engine. But what it is good at doing is giving you like exactly what you want, like getting to your key cards, right? Like your draw card because it's a village. Yeah. So the cost, I think the cheap cost makes sense there because it can really damage your hand, but is probably pretty good if played well. Well, I think it's interesting. And yeah, I think maybe an interesting high skill card. Yeah. Yeah, that's a nice card. I like the thematicness of a Scarecrow, so it scares away your duplicate cards, right? That's cool. Okay. Player King. Well, I don't like that name. Okay, I reject that name. Costs 10? Trash a card from your hand for each coin in its cost. Gain a card costing up to 5 that is not a victory card, putting it on top of your deck. If you gained 5 or more cards this way, trash this card. What? So you trash a card with it for each coin in its cost, gain a card costing up to 5 that's not a victory card. So you trash Lab with this, you could gain 5 labs. And then you would trash this card, but you would have gained. Well, you would have netted 4 labs. Well, just gain. If you don't want to trash it, just don't. You have to. So you would have to do that. So it's a little inflexible, but still you get. I mean, the idea that you could gain a whole pile's worth of. I mean, if you collide these cards, you would gain, because you could trash Player King with Player King, and you would gain like 10 5-cost cards. Now, of course, this is super expensive, so that's kind of hard to do, but wow. Okay, in games, I guess I should look at the rest of this. In games using this, at the start of your buy phase, you may reveal your hand. If there are no duplicate cards in it, Player King costs 5 less this turn, but not less than 0. I think this card's broken, right? It's just going to be so strong. You're going to go for this, and you're going to use this to like pile drive really good cards that help you pile drive. Yeah, it's just too good. Hate the name, and yeah, I think it's broken. Okay. Ingo? I don't know what that. I don't know that word. It's a 5-cost treasure worth 2. That's a silver with benefits. plus buy, and you have at least if you have at least 4 differently named treasures in play, including this, it's another 2. So you have to have this, copper, silver, and any other treasure. So gold. Well, so that'd be probably pretty easy a lot of the time, and then it would be better with gold, better than gold. So okay, so you always buy this over silver because it's, well, yeah, because it's always at least worth silver. If you have 4 differently named treasures in play, it's gonna be another 2. It's gonna be better than gold. Yeah, I think that's going to be quite common, this having at least 4 differently named treasures in play. I guess maybe not, because if there's no kingdom treasures, it's just got to be this. No other kingdom treasures. It would have to be this, copper, silver, and gold. Yeah, I mean, the question is, would you want this over gold, if you could even afford gold? It gets into that sort of bank territory where it's like pretty much about the same, but what if you get a bad hand and then it'll be way worse than gold? It's interesting that different types, differently named treasure variety is not really an explored theme yet of Cornucopia, so I give it some merit for that. But, I don't know. I don't really know if it would be, all that good. Okay, moving on. Flea market. I should try to pick up the pace a little bit, maybe. I don't want a super long video. Flea market costs 5, plus 1 card, plus 1 action, plus 1 money. So it's a peddler variant, and then this turn you may buy any number of cards. Well, no, you may not. What? But you may not buy more than 1 copy. Oh, okay. So you have infinite buys, but you can only buy. You can't buy more than 1 copy of any card. That's interesting. So, like with this in play, you could automatically buy Copper, Curse, Ruin. Well, you could potentially like pile drive the ruins if they kept coming up different, right? Well, that's kind of interesting. But why would you want to do that? Well, for gardens or something, but okay. Yeah, I think this fares kind of poorly to market. Because, well, maybe not. I don't know. It's probably just quite similar to market. Interesting idea. I don't think it's actually going to work that well. Grocer. 3 cost action. Plus 1 action. Put 1 of your grocer tokens on a supply pile. This pile must not cost more than any pile without 1 of your tokens. You may gain a card from any pile with 1 of your tokens on it. What did I just read? This pile must not cost more. Oh, the pile. Yeah, this is a bad use of a semicolon, I think. Put 1 of your grocer tokens on a supply pile. The supply pile you chose cannot cost more than a pile without 1 of your tokens. So you have to put it on the cheapest pile, right? And then you may gain a card from any pile that has a token on it. Okay, I see. So if you play this a bunch, you slowly put tokens on. There's got to be an easier way to word that doesn't make me think through it so much. So the more you play it, the more you put tokens on piles that allow you to gain better stuff. And it's non-terminal for 3. That's probably too good, right? You may gain. Well, I guess this is the first time. No, the first time you play it, you just have to gain. You'd have to gain like a copper. No, a supply pile. Well, supply pile. Yeah, so copper. So this should be kingdom pile, right? To make it more interesting, I think. Or else I think it's just too bad. Because you'd be copper and then estate and. Right? Am I understanding this correctly? Yeah. Yeah. It might be too good if it's kingdom pile, though. Interesting idea. Probably needs to be tweaked considerably. But interesting idea. I don't know if it's really right for Cornucopia, though. Maybe it is. Because wouldn't you want a less diverse supply pile then, or kingdom cards? Less diversity in your kingdom cards? So you could, or I guess low diversity at the bottom, so you could quickly ramp up to the top. Yeah. Anyway. Okay, moving on. Kaleidoscope. 4-cost action, +1 card, +1 action. So non-terminal. Reveal your hand and note the number of differently named cards revealed. Okay, if you revealed at least 2, +1 buy, 3, +1 money, 4, +1 action, 5, +1 card. Oh, but so they would stack, right? So you get, yeah, all those benefits on top of +1 card, +1 action. Yeah, I thought of doing something like this, and maybe I did, because maybe this is my card. Yeah, I guess I said, well, okay, this is not my card. Yeah, this is not my card. So it reveals your hand. So it rewards you for having diversity in your hand, which is sort of already Menagerie's design space, so I would probably say on that. But let's look at the level of power. So if you have 3 differently named cards, you're going to get +1 buy and +1 money on top of +1 card, +1 action. So then it's +1 card, +1 action, +1 money, +1 buy. So then it's $4 market, 4-cost market. And it's always going to be at least that, pretty much. So I think it would be too strong. Okay. Raffle. 5-cost action, +1 action. Set aside any number of differently named treasure cards from your hand, then play them in any order, and then draw until you have 5 cards in hand. What? +1 action. Set aside any number of differently named treasure cards from your hand, then play them. So you play your treasures during your hand, and then draw until you have 5 cards in hand. Oh, that would be quite good. Well, but they have to be differently named treasure cards. So well thought out, I guess. And then it does a mini sort of watchtower or library thing, and it's non-terminal. I wonder if this is at all a good. This has probably got to be a strong big money card, and potentially a strong engine card, but a strong big money card, right? Because you can play it, set aside like copper, silver, and then you would draw 2 more cards. Well, I guess it just replaces the cards you played, huh? I don't know. I don't know if I really like it, but it's interesting. Vanguard. 5-cost action. Oh, I stopped paying attention to flavor names. Grocers, interesting. Kaleidoscope's kind of cool. Is that Cornucopia? I don't know. Raffle, no, not really. Vanguard, not super Cornucopia-ish either. 5-cost action, +2 cards, +2 actions, +1 buy. Well, this isn't. Well, that's quite good. Well, this is in play when you buy a card. Trash each copy of that card you have in play. What? So while this is in play, you could buy copper and trash all your coppers. That's nice. But you can't use it to buy. If you buy Vanguard with it, you would just trash the one you have. Oh, that's interesting. But probably too bad for 5. Well, I mean, I guess you can really clear out your coppers. That's nice. But okay, and it's fine with victory cards because you don't have those in play. So it's tough to say whether it's like balanced or not. Because okay, you really can't buy treasure with it, other than copper, which you want to trash, but you can't really buy silver and gold because you'll be trashing the ones you have. And you can't buy engine pieces you already have in play. So I don't know, it's probably not good enough for 5, except as like a mass copper trasher, and we already have, there's probably better options. So I don't know, maybe it should cost 4? Yeah, it should probably cost 4, but, well, interesting in theory. I don't know that it works, really. Pariah. I like that name. But, is it a See, with Cornucopia, I'm thinking like the harvest theme, and the like a farming theme, and also the sort of tournament theme, although that's more for tournament, I guess. Anyway, Pariah, 5 cost action, gain a card costing up to 6. Each other player may gain a curse. If those players do, they gain a copy of the card you gained. Okay, that's sort of like a jester. So you just get a card costing up to 6. So you can get a gold, and they could take a curse and a gold. But they didn't have to play this card. So that's got to be a terrible card, right? It's got to be pretty good for your opponents. I mean, they'd have to take a curse, but, I mean, you wasted an action slot to play this card that just gains you a card costing up to 6. Which is good, but not the best thing ever. I mean, if it was like, it costs 5, if it was a silver plus, you very well may have been able to buy a card costing up to 6, and you wouldn't give your opponents a shot at gaining that card too. So I think it's probably bad. Yeah. Theater. And does it work with like Watchtower? Each player may gain a curse. No. So if you because they did gain it. I don't know how. Because there's with Soothsayer, this works a certain way, right? Because it's like the Soothsayer thing. Because if do they actually have to take the curse to get the thing? Well, anyway, I don't know. Theater. 4 cost action, plus 2 actions. You may reveal a patron card from your hand. If you do, plus 2 cards. I don't know what this is. Set up, add an extra kingdom card pile costing 5 or 6 to the supply. Cards from that pile are patron cards. That's kind of interesting, even though I don't usually like this sort of add kingdom card thing. But yeah, I like that actually. Well, do I? Because whatever this kingdom card is, okay, it's a pretty good card. So it's something you want to have in hand. So this is probably going to be like a dominating strategy. So maybe I don't like it so much. I like the idea, but this is probably going to be strong because you do want to have 5 and 6 cost cards in hand, even though they're harder to buy. Like if it was a bad card, but those are easier to buy. I don't know. Yeah. Carnival. Carnival's a fine cornucopia thing. Action attack. I think our first official attack card here. 3 costs. The player to your left chooses a card in the supply without a carnival token on it. Either gain a copy of it or each other. Lots of new tokens and stuff. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe this is not the card's fault at all, but I'm starting to get like token fatigue. Too much. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just kind of getting sick of that. So I'm gonna move on. I think. I guess I should look at it more critically, to be fair to the person who didn't get to choose what order their card came up in. Okay. Without a carnival token, either gain a copy of it or each other player gains a copy of it. Your choice. Okay. That's a $3 attack a card in the supply, so can't you just choose curse and give them curse? Unless it has okay, you can only do that once, and then you put a carnival token on that pile until everyone has a token. Yeah, I just don't like it. I don't know, I just don't like it. Sideshow. I don't really like the name. $5, 5 cost action. Plus 2 actions, reveal your hand, plus 1 money for each differently named action card you revealed. Plus 2 actions, reveal your hand, plus 1 money for each differently named action card. And it costs 5 for being like Squire. Unless you have a lot of differently named actions, which that'd be nice. Let's see. Okay, if you have like lab and smithy in hand, then it's plus 2 actions, plus 2 money. Which I guess is a 5 cost benefit. It's really not. No, it's not, because it's the same as festival. Well, it's worse than festival. So you'd have to have 3 differently named actions in hand for this to be really good. Which is doable. Yeah, just doesn't really excite me. Okay, wine cellar. 4 cost action. Reveal up to 2 differently named cards from your hand and put them on top of your deck. And I'm getting sick. We've seen a lot of this, I felt like, in the other contests, that put cards from your hand on top of your deck mechanic. Plus 2 money per card revealed this way. When you buy this, reveal your hand. If you don't reveal at least 2 differently named cards, trash this. So then you just wouldn't buy this. So I don't really like that. Yeah, I don't like this card. Traveling Circus. Action Victory costs 5. Look through your deck. Set aside any number of differently named victory cards from it. Okay, when you play it, you look through your deck. And put any number of differently named victory cards into your hand, and then you shuffle your deck. Okay. With 1 VP for... Okay, so it takes some victory cards out of your coming shuffle, which is nice, but you did spend an action to do that. So it's kind of mitigating. Worth 1 VP for every 2 differently typed cards in your deck. Clarification, each unique combination of types... Yeah, this doesn't work, but I guess we could come up with some way to get around it. Okay, it would have to say like on the card where it says type, worth 1 VP for every 2 different combinations of phrases appearing on the bottom of the card or something like that. Which is an interesting enough idea. So like action, treasure, victory are 3 different. Okay, but so then it would only be 1 VP for this Dutch. I mean, it's the same price as Dutchy. So I don't know. It is interesting trying to do this, but I don't know if it really works here. I don't love this top, so I'm going to say no. Thank you. I think I like the cards at the beginning better. Okay, Nomad. 4 cost action, plus 1 card, plus 1 action. Trash a card from your hand. That's nice. You may gain a card with cost exactly equal to the cost of the trash card, putting it into your hand. Okay. Okay. Does this drain the fortress pile with 1 play of it, right? This was the problem with... I'm thinking of... my card was Renovate in the Dark Ages contest, which almost won, got second. But a legitimate objection to that card was that it, as worded, it could just automatically drain. I think it was the Fortress and Renovate pile or something, or just the Fortress pile. You may gain it, so you could trash Fortress from your hand, and then you get it back, and then you gain, a Fortress into hand, and you would do it all over again, right? Yeah. So that would have to be fixed. It's kind of similar to Fortress. It's quite similar to Fortress, or to my Renovate card, actually. This is not my card. I guess I shouldn't say that. Maybe I should say that. I'm not discussing my card here. Yeah, I don't know. I like my card better. My Renovate card better. But, yeah. been there, done that, sort of. I don't know if it's really right for Cornucopia. Harvest Queen. 5 cost action, set aside any number of differently named action cards from your hand. Play them in any order. Oh, I see why this is different, because you wouldn't keep being able to play this. But it costs the same as Fortress. So you could trash Fortress, gain this card, play it on Fortress. Yeah, so you could do that. Okay. Just wanted to make sure I wasn't talking craziness there. Because it doesn't make you play it. But, okay. Set aside any number of differently named action cards from your hand, and then play them in any order. Ooh. Okay. So in a way, it's a super village, because you just get to play all the action cards in your hand. And you can choose the action, so that has some nice. You can choose the order, so that has some nice interactions with other cornucopia cards, rather, Menagerie and Hunting Party. And it's probably fine at 5, although it may be cheaper. I don't know. Sort of golem-y sort of thing going on. That's a nice card. Yeah, well done on that one, I think. Showman. Like the circus? I don't know. Cost 3, +1 action. Reveal a card from your hand, then reveal the top card of your deck. If they don't match, +1 card and +1 money. And then this card will just be +1 action, +1 card, +1 money. Yeah, which isn't really a big deal. And this might be a pain, although, I mean, they probably won't match, but really, who cares? I mean, if they don't match, if they do match, it's terrible, because then this card is just awful. But I guess it goes with, like, Menagerie, sort of. Just because it takes up a place in your hand, it doesn't replace itself. Yeah, nah. Old Gaffer. That's a Tolkien thing, I think. Cost 4. +2 money. Each other player may reveal a hand without duplicate cards. If he doesn't, he gains a curse. Okay, so if the other players aren't set up to do Menagerie, they gain curses, and then it's a sea hag sort of thing, and +2 money to you, which is really nice. So that's probably a good attack. Yeah. I mean, they're often gonna. So I think it's gonna be pretty hard to have the duplicates, because right when you're playing Menagerie, you play Menagerie, and then it's like, do I have a duplicate? I only have 4 cards because I played Menagerie. If I'm just revealing my hand, I have 5 because I haven't played Menagerie yet. So it's probably a little harder to block than you might intuitively think. So it's probably quite strong. And we already have Young Witch, so this probably wouldn't be the card I would pick. But I like trying to do a cursing mechanic off the variants, so I just don't think it's interesting enough. Wheatfield, 4 cost victory, worth 1 VP for each differently named non-victory card of which you have at least 4 copies. Nah, that's just too. I think that's just too. Yeah. I mean, I think that's just sort of trying to combine some other victory card, like Fairgrounds has this pretty much covered already. Okay, Potluck, 4 cost action, +2 actions. +1 buy if you have at least 4 differently named cards in play. Counting this, +2 cards, +1 money, discard 2 cards. That's a lot. 2 actions, a buy, then 2 cards, +1 money, discard 2 cards. If you have 4 differently named cards in play. Having 4 differently named cards in play, counting this, can be challenging. Probably. So that's probably quite challenging. And I mean, without that, this is just nothing. And then it's plus 2 cards, plus 1 money, but you discard 2 cards. So that's not even so great. So I don't know if this card is very good. Or very interesting. Okay. Hydra, action, reaction, cost. This is the cost 999 cards. Okay, so without even reading the rest, the card is too weak. Okay, but I will read the rest. Plus 1 action, plus 1 card per Hydra you have in play, including this. So it really stacks. When another player plays an attack card, you may discard this. If you do, gain a Hydra. Okay. Well, see, I really wish the author of the card had included a real cost as a frame of reference, because I don't even know. It doesn't like jump out to me at a certain price, because it can be gained if you're attacked. Okay, let me try to guess what it should be. So the second Hydra you play is a lab, and the third one you have is non-penalty Stables Governor. The fourth one you have is the fourth one you play is non-terminal Hunting Ground, so it stacks pretty quickly. So it's probably gonna be like 5 at least, right? Because then the first one you play is nothing, the second one you play is lab, the third one you play, and so on and so forth. So I don't know if it really works at any cost, actually. Yeah. I mean, it's probably too weak at 6, so it'd have to be 5, but I don't know. It might be too good at 5. I don't know. I don't think I like it enough. Outcast. Okay, we're nearing the end. That's good. 4 cost, action, attack, +1 buy, +1 money. Each other player discards any number of cards, then reveals his hand. Each other player discards any number of cards. Each player who reveals duplicate cards gains a copper. Oh, so this penalizes duplicate cards? Wait, each other player discards any number of cards, so you could just discard 0 cards and not gain a copper, right? Am I missing something? Discard as many. Oh, but you had to discard cards. Oh, well, you don't want to do that. Yeah, you don't want to do that, so you just discard nothing. Then reveal your hand, and oh, if you reveal in your hand. Oh, I see. See, yeah, okay. This is the card I'm just totally misunderstanding. And probably 10 of the cards I sped through as well. Okay, the penalty is a copper. That's not really so bad. Yeah, the penalty is a copper. I just wouldn't discard anything, and it'd just be like, action attack, you get a copper. So an action attack, so ignore this. This just, you get a copper, and I get +1 buy, +1 money. Probably not very good. And also I can sort of block it. It's just bad, I think. Getting a copper is not ideal, but it's not the worst thing ever to happen. Okay, dairy. Oh, I like dairy. That's an interesting name for this. 5 cost action. Well, it's just dairy. It should be like dairy farmer or dairy farm, maybe. +3 cards. Reveal, then discard any number of cards. Oh, I hope I have not been doing this the whole time. I'm sorry. I know people say that's annoying. Okay. Reveal, then discard any number of cards. If you discarded any cards, gain a card with cost up to 1 money plus the number of differently named cards discarded. If you discarded at least 3 differently named cards, +1 action. Well, that's a lot going on. So, okay, so you can make it be stables. That makes you, because you had to discard. If you just discarded copper, let's say you just discard a copper, then you would get a card costing up to 2, and it would not be stables. It would just be smithy. And it costs 5. Okay, it's kind of confusing, but it might work. Let's say I discard copper and estate. That's easy enough. I'll discard copper and estate. Then I would get a card costing 3. And it's just smithy, which is still, that's getting to be kind of okay for, it's like a gain of silver. I discard copper and estate, I get a silver, and I was smithied. And okay, I discard Copper, Estate, and something else not super important to me, and it stables, and I gain a 4 cost, which is pretty good. But I had to discard, you know, Copper, Estate, and something at least sort of important to me. So I think this card works. It's well thought out. Hard to know how it would play, but yeah, this is my favorite of the last bunch I've gone through, although I quite liked some at the beginning. So yeah. Barter Shop. Cost 5, type action, +1 card, +1 action, reveal your hand. I feel like there's a lot of non-terminals. +1 card, +1 action, reveal your hand. You can discard a card from your hand that is not a duplicate. So you have to discard a unique card from your hand. If you do, or you may. If you do that, you can gain a card costing up to 6 that is not a copy of the card in your hand. So this is an anti-Cornucopia card, right? Because you don't want duplicates. No, that's the theme of Cornucopia. What am I saying? It's late. Okay. Okay, yes. So, okay, that makes sense. Discard a card from your hand that is not a duplicate. So, okay. And then you gain a card costing up to 6. So, if you do that, it's non-terminal, what is it, Alter, that doesn't trash, that discards instead. It costs 5, so it's kind of close in cost. So it's non-terminal, though. You assuredly will have a unique card, right? You have an estate hanging around or something, so I think this is probably too good. Because then it's just non-trashing, non-terminal, non-trashing Alter, which is a little worse, but non-terminal and draws a card, which is extremely good if Upgrade and Junk Dealer have anything to say. So I think that's probably too good. Maybe not too good, but very, very good. I don't really care for it. Sharpening Stone, costs 4, it's a treasure, worth 1 money. If you have at least 4 differently named cards in play, not including this, +1 buy and +2 money. So similar to that other card. I probably liked that other card better. Because you will assuredly have 4. Because then it becomes it's like a 4 cost gold. I mean, it'll very, very often be a 4 cost gold. Well, you have to put 4 differently named cards that aren't this. So copper, silver, the action you played, and some other card. Either the other action you played or gold. Yeah, I think it'd be too easy. Yeah, I think it's just going to be too strong. Well, I'm maybe not too strong, but always worth 3 money and a plus buy virtually. Yeah, which would make it quite strong. No thanks. Scythe. Scythe. Sometimes people pronounce that I sound harder than other people. I like the name. Cost 4. Trash any number of differently named cards from your hand. Gain a card with cost less than twice the number of cards trashed. So you could trash Copper, Curse, Estate, and you would get a card costing up to 6. With cost less than twice, so you gain a card costing up to 5. And that would be it. That'd be good, but maybe you don't have Curse. So just Copper and Estate, and you would get a silver. Well, that's pretty good too, I guess. Yeah, that's probably a fine card, right? It's not. It's a terminal. It costs 4. It loses its functionality probably kind of quickly, but it's a good trasher. So yeah, a good trashing card. Yep, it's fine. Okay. That's all from me, I think. Yeah, this were a lot of interesting cards. I don't know that I could quickly identify the ones I really liked. What was the one? Dairy I liked, and well, anyway, you saw the video, so you know which ones I like. Okay. Thanks for watching, and we will chat on the forums. Thanks.